What is up, RPG nerds? Welcome back for another Octopath Traveler video, and in this video we'll be ranking all of the support skills in Octopath Traveler 2. If you enjoy RPGs or Octopath Traveler, or both, obviously, then please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Alright, let's get right into this. So, of course, I'm going to start with the D tier, and these aren't really necessarily trash. They're not like F tier, but they really are never better than any of the other ones in my opinion. And starting at the bottom of D tier is the exact same as I said at the bottom in the original Octopath, and that is going to be Incidental Attack. Incidental Attack is just kind of trash, honestly. Like, you can debuff an enemy and then get one hit in, but like it doesn't even happen all the time, and at that point you could have just hit somebody or could have just debuffed. Like, I don't see why you would ever want Incidental Attack instead of something so much better. I don't really even know. Then Ensnare is a counterattack where it debuffs the enemy upon being hit, which in theory is cool, but it's like a very weak debuff and it only happens like very rarely, so I was just not really that good. I mean, honestly, I can't really think of a time where you would want to use this, especially when there are abilities like Vengeful Blade that are much better counterattacks. Honestly, Ensnare is kind of trash. And then last is Of Equal Might. Although I know some people will do certain builds where this can be useful, maybe like an Agnia Arms Master or something wacky like that. I don't even know. That's just not my vibe. There's never any character that I really like go out of there. Like, I'm not going to make a physical character a magical character, I'm sorry, but that's not something I really do. So honestly, I don't think Of Equal Might's that good. If you think it's good, go ahead, think it's good. I don't really care, but in my opinion, it's just kind of trash. Alright, let's move on to the C tier. Starting out in the C tier has got to be Invigorating Break. This is just the definition of mid. Upon breaking an enemy, you get health back. There are so many better ways to heal health. There are so many better things that you can have equipped. Extra damage, just extra health in general, extra survivability, upgraded accessories. If you want to survive longer, put on something better than Invigorating Break. Like, come on, this isn't even that good. And then next is going to be SP Recovery. It's kind of dumb too. This one, depending on the amount of damage you do, you get SP. But again, there are better ways to get SP. And just like Invigorating Break and SP Recovery, Inspiriting Break is going to come in near the bottom of C tier because there are just better ways to get SP back. Yeah, so all three of those abilities are sadly pretty bad because there's not really ever a use for them over other abilities, but honestly, they're not really that trash. But moving on to some of the other ones, these are mostly the next ones in C tier are going to be the stat buffs, which are all nice for the beginning of the game, but none of them are all that like special, especially since in the first Octopath Traveler you wouldn't get as many buffs from your equipment, but there are so many crazy accessories and weapons in this game that you really do not need to worry about these minute stat buffs. But starting off is Inner Strength, which is an SP stat buff, not that great. Then Hale and Hardy, an HP stat buff, which is really nice right away, but otherwise it's pretty bad. Eagle Eye, a critical hit rate stat buff, which is nice, but of course there's like critical scope, take aim. There's a lot of other ways to get better critical hits that you don't need to waste an innate skill slot on. Then we have Summon Strength. It's always nice to have extra physical attack, but it's nothing too crazy. Then Fleetfoot, which you can use Fleetfoot to like really determine your turn order, but again, that's still like even random, even depending on your speed. Can't really guarantee anything there. And then of course, last is going to be Elemental Augmentation, which is pretty nice because increasing your magic I feel like is a little bit harder than increasing your physical attack, so I put that at the top of C tier. Alright, next let's move on to the B tier. First in the B tier is going to have to be Purification. Of course, being able to get rid of enfeebling effects is nice, especially when it's a lot harder to get rid of enfeebling effects compared to status effects. Basically, you're going to use Arcanist, and then you have to like boost that one ability. But, of course, so taking half time to get rid of the enfeebling effects is nice. And it's not bad. I mean, it's nice, but it's never something I feel like I would equip over any of the other ones on this list. There's still 35 support skills that are better. Next is going to be Invigorate and Inspire, which gives you a little bit of latent power, a little bit of the latent power gauge when you buff somebody. But honestly, buffing somebody is not even like something that's super common. I'd really only use this with like Agnia, and it's okay with Agnia, but I still think there are better ways to get latent power, and there are better things to equip. Then next you have Heightened Senses, which is nice, like getting attacks, like getting first attacks on the enemies is nice, but is it anything that crazy? No, but it's always good to get some extra hits in there, but of course it's always better. Just using a step ahead is much more reliable, and yeah. Alright, let's move on to Preventative Measures, which basically just makes it a lower chance to get hit by status ailments, and that's always good, but it's nothing too crazy. Of course, it's there, it's nice, but yeah, it only lasts for like 3 turns, which isn't, I think I prefer the one in Octopath more, where it just improved your resistance instead of the first 3 turns, because first 3 turns is pretty iffy, but it's a nice change from the first game, but I don't think it's for the better, and it's just not that great of an ability. Then next we have Master of Offense, which is okay, but like I was saying earlier, like critical, this like really increases your critical hit chance, where Eagle Eye is just like but again, Critical Scope is just a more reliable ability overall, and you can have a whole inventor skill set without having to worry about taking up one of your support skill slots. Alright, let's move on to Bolstering Break, which just makes you do more damage when you break an enemy, which is nice, but it's not quite as good as a lot of these other abilities in the game. Alright, let's move on to the A tier now. First off, in the A tier is going to have to be Evasive Maneuvers and Evil Ward. I'm just going to combine these two and talk about them. If you're just playing this game for the story, these are great abilities. Like, it's kind of weird to place them anywhere on this list, but I think this is a good spot. They're great abilities if you're trying to just focus on the story, just get through. But if you want to fight any of these super bosses, the final boss, like any of that, if you want to do the final chapter, beat Galdera, beat a bunch of the hidden bosses and dungeons, Evasive Maneuvers and Evil Ward are just going to make it so much harder to actually get through dungeons, because they are making you fight less battles. If you decide you just want to grind it out all later instead of making the stories kind of choppy, sure, go ahead, do whatever you want. But I think that this wasn't the best ability. I abused these abilities in the first Octopath, and I was so underleveled by the Galdera fight, and I was just crying because I had to grind a bunch. However, of course, I think this is fine if you're just trying to focus on the story. Well, let's move on to Divine Wrath, which if you get incapacitated, it can either 1, deal 3 different elemental damage for a total of 6,000 damage, which is kind of bad, or it can give the enemy every negative status effect. That is amazing. So you can build it around this, where you can have Rise Again, and then you can just completely debuff the enemy with Divine Wrath if you let them die, say with like Insight or something. But the problem is it's random, and it requires one of your characters to die. So this can be really good if you can set it up right, but yeah, requiring a character to die and only having a 50% chance of it actually working makes this kind of mid, even though it could be really cool on paper. And the next is Rise Again, which basically just revives you if you die, which is always nice, but it's not going to be as good as something like just using a large olive of life, because Rise Again doesn't restore you with that much health. And of course, like, it's just not nearly as good as Hang Tough, which can be used so many times in a battle, even though it's not really, yeah, you don't actually die, but it makes so you don't actually die, which is nice. And Rise Again, it's, yeah, once per battle, you don't really need it. I would say there's very few circumstances, like I was saying with Divine Wrath, I would say that's really the only time I use Rise Again over something like Hang Tough. Let's move on to the next one, Advanced Magic Master, which makes Advanced Magic and Aliphan's Wisdom last 1 extra turn. I'm pretty sure about the second one, definitely sure about the first one, but this is good for the near the beginning and stuff. However, Stone of Truth just outclasses this later on, and of course, advanced magic isn't even always the best way to go. Sometimes elemental barrage is more helpful, and yeah, I don't really think that lasting one more turn is enough to save a slot for, but right away this can be nice right when you get it, so I put it this high. The next is Ever Evasive, which can be amazing in challenges or mugs or just provoke or whatever for those type of duels, and can be pretty decent throughout the rest of the game. But I mean, as much as being evasive is nice, there's no guarantees that you can survive, so putting up something like Divine Protection, Sacred Shield, Prayer to the Flame, Sidestep with Arcanist abilities, just using something that actually guarantees survival, or Temenos's Prayer for Plenty, like any of those abilities are just more reliable than Ever Evasive. Then we have Lasting Memory, which if you die, your status effects, your stat buffs still remain. If you have a character where you basically are just putting all your buffs onto that one character to make them overpowered, yes, put Lasting Memory on them, so it's not going to be like completely throwing off your strategy. However, honestly, this is not really that great of an ability if you can just survive, which, if you have the right strategy, you can survive. Then next you have Latent Power Plus, which gives you extra latent power gain, which is really nice, but it's nothing way too crazy when you can just use Empowering Lychee, or you can use a jam or something like that that restores your latent power, or the Tin Horn, or any of those abilities. You just don't really need Latent Power Plus, but it's always nice to just have during random battles, so you can just be using your Latent Power that much more often. However, there's things like Full Power, which are just a lot more reliable and nice. Next is Arms Refinement, which I think is a little bit better than Latent Power Plus, because anytime you hit an enemy weak point, it restores extra latent power. I just think this is a little bit more a little bit more helpful. I don't know if it's as just general, but being able to hit those weaknesses, get extra latent power is nice. However, again, there are better abilities. Boost Start is nice in this game, not nearly as good as it is in the original, because when you use a step ahead, it gives your entire party an extra BP because you've taken an extra turn, and Boost Start just gives you one extra BP. So basically, Boost Start is just worse than a step ahead in basically every way, but it's still a nice ability to have right when you get it, and a step ahead is harder to get. So Boost Start is nice right when you get it, but it definitely just falls later in the game. Alright, next are 5 weird abilities I didn't really know where to place on this list. I'm just going to have them at the top of A tier because anywhere else seems kind of weird, but these are going to be the abilities that give you extra rewards after battle. And the first is going to be More Rare Monsters, which I guess isn't really giving you extra rewards after battle, but fighting rare monsters allows you to get those extra rewards, so it's kind of the same idea. Getting those extra rewards, extra JP experience items, all that good stuff. Then Grows on Trees, which is going to give you extra leaves, which is a lot nicer in this game because there's no just eye for money cheating like there was in the first game. Then there's Extra Experience, which is obvious. It's what you think it does. Hard Worker, which gives you extra JP, and Life in the Shadows, which at nighttime gives you extra experience and JP, which is personally my favorite because I basically fight every battle in nighttime because there's no reason to be fighting in daytime, to be honest. So yeah, those are going to be at the top of A tier, all 5 of those abilities. And speaking of tiers, we are now going to move into the S tier. First in the S tier is going to be Vigorous Victor, an ability that I'm kind of biased toward, but every battle it restores 30% of your HP and SP after completing the battle. This is just so nice and convenient for regular battles, just for traversing dungeons. Is it really that great, especially in like boss fights? No, but I have it equipped a lot because it just gives you that HP and SP after battle, and that's just really nice and convenient. You don't have to waste a bunch of time healing after battles or any of that. And yeah, it's just nice. Conserving items, keeping you at full health and SP is always awesome. The next is SP Saver, which I don't think is as nice as it was in the first game, because like Share SP like hits everyone in this game, and because there are a lot of good ways to restore SP in this game with Cassidy's Broken Concoct, or of course the Apothecary Divine. However, yeah, SP Saver is nice. It's almost as good as it is in the first game, but not quite as broken, so I'm keeping it here. Next is one that, just like Vigorous Victor, I don't know if people are loving it as much as I did, but that's going to be BP in Adversity. Anytime you're on low health, you get 2 BP. You get on low health a lot in Octopath Traveler, I feel like, so getting that extra BP when you're on low health is always nice. And especially in one of my favorite builds in the game, Last Gasp Hikari, where you get him on low health, equip that accessory, deal tons of damage, and add on top of that BP and Adversity, and basically you're always going to have enough BP to just fully charge that ability. It's great. I love BP and Adversity. It's probably not one that other people consider top tier, but one that I really thoroughly enjoy. Next is going to be Fruits of Labor, which basically gives you the ability to get extra defense and elemental defense depending on how many job skills you've unlocked. If you've just grinded the game out, this is basically one of the best ways to increase your defense and elemental defense. However, again, there's armor, there's accessories, there are always ways to increase these things. So it's really good, and it's really good for surviving, but it's not like a top 4 like support skill that you should definitely have or anything. Alright, next let's move on to upgraded accessories, which is the same idea, but it's also more versatile. It's not going to give you as big a boosts as Fruits of Labor probably will, but it's just a lot more versatile because you can be upgrading things other than just defense and elemental defense. Alright, next is going to be The Show Goes On, which anytime you use a buffing ability, it increases it by 1 turn. Some of the buffing abilities, this can mean life or death. Some of the divine skills like Doter's Charity or Sealty's Seduction, like any of those divine skills, or Aelfric's Blessing, any of those, let's see, Elephant's Wisdom. Just buffing, giving an extra turn on all those abilities is very good for a character like Agnia, who's going to be buffing a lot, or Temenos, or just someone like that, who's going to be buffing a lot and can really use and benefit from this ability. Next is going to be Price of Power, which is a good ability. It doubles your damage on your spells at the cost of doubling the SP as well, which you're like, okay, that's pretty annoying. However, if you just put SP Saver on, this can just basically double your damage instantly. If you're using a magic build like some of like Temenos's very powerful light attack, or One True Magic, or Elemental Barrage, or whatever the heck you're using magic wise, this is just very powerful. It basically, yeah, just doubles the damage. And yeah, I personally prefer more physical builds, so that's why this isn't quite as high on the list. However, this is very good if you're relying on magic. I'd rather stick with Hikari's Broken Skills or Throne Arms Master. However, magical builds can be really good, and Price of Power elevates those. Next is going to be Peak Performance, which if you're on full health is very powerful because it increases the damage. Combine this with Prayer for Plenty and just being on really high health at all times. Sealty's Seduction on top of that, and you can just be at full health and be dealing huge amounts of extra damage. I either run Throne Arms Master with this ability or Hikari's Last Gasp setup. But yeah, of course there are going to be other setups, but I really like this one because you don't have to worry about just getting one-shotted because you just do extra damage when you're high on health. Next is going to be Salt the Wound, which is kind of like Patience from the first game, with a caveat: you have to break the enemy first. However, it also has double the chance of occurring at 50%. If this would just be guaranteed, which I feel like it kind of should be, because 50%, I don't know, it's just kind of weird, but breaking the enemy, you get a 50% chance to get an extra turn, and extra turns are always broken. There's nothing else to be said. Put this on like Temenos, who will constantly be breaking enemies, and you'll just get an extra turn. It's awesome. Or Ochette, who's also very good at breaking enemies, or an Arms Master, just any of those that are just going to be breaking people constantly. Salt the Wound is a very, very good ability. Alright, next let's move on to the S plus tier, the top 5 support skills in Octopath Traveler 2. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Hang Tough, an ability I absolutely love. Again, using the Hikari strategy that I was just talking about, or basically any time, because if you're getting hit by powerful attacks, it's going to kill you, or you can be on 1 health with Hang Tough. Like, this is an ability I like to have on as many people as possible. Just really gives you that extra survivability, and you can purposely get hit by big attacks to restore latent power, or like I was saying, equipping that accessory, I think Alpione's amulet, I think that's what it's called, just doing extra damage at low health. Those type accessories or skills, anything like that, Hang Tough can be very good. Using BP from Boost from Beyond, with Hikari, you can use this, make Hikari a huge BP battery, even though with this ability, so he won't die. Just, there's a lot of cool things you can do with Hang Tough, and just in general, even without all those cool things, it's just a very ability that gives you a lot of extra survivability, and it's a great ability. Next is going to be a Step Ahead, which just getting an extra turn before enemies can go is just so useful. It's awesome, it's convenient in normal encounters, and it can give you a lot of time to set up for really hard boss fights, like the Galdera fight. As well, it also is going to give you an extra, since it gives you an extra turn, it's giving everyone an extra BP at the beginning of battle. So everyone starts a battle with 2 BP, which is basically just having boost start on everyone with just one person having a Step Ahead on. There's so many things that can happen with this, and it's just so nice, like Casty, latent power concoct at the beginning of battle, everyone has a ton of BP, or Hikari Boost from Beyond at the beginning of battle, Particio donate BP, just getting set up, or debuffing with Ochet, debuffing with the Thief or the Hunter, or just any of these things that you can do before battle actually starts is just really awesome. And then some things like farming for rare monsters, being able to beat them up before they flee. There's just so many things that a Step Ahead can do for you, and it's awesome. Next is going to be Full Power, which makes so that you start the battle with a full latent power gauge. And although this isn't really going to be like the most amazing thing for bosses, it's still a good ability in boss fights. But it just makes all enemy encounters trivial. Being able to start the battle with full BP on Particio, a free concoct with Casty, 2 turns with Throne, 2 turns or huge attacks with Hikari damage dealing, breaking, debuffing, with Ochet, Agnia being able to use something on everyone, just all these things. Temenos just breaking the whole enemy party, Oswald doing extra damage. There's just so many things. Starting the battle with a full latent power gauge will just trivialize basic enemy fights. You won't even have to worry about breaking sometimes, because latent powers are just that powerful. Honestly, Full Power is just so awesome. Next is my favorite ability, not the best one I don't think, but my favorite in the game, BP Regeneration. Basically, you have a chance of getting all your BP back after using an ability. There's no reason not to have this on everyone, because you're going to be boosting all the time, and especially when you go on full boost and you get BP back. Like, there's no reason not to have this ability. It can save you so many times, and although it's random, it's not like it's like not benefiting you. It's not like it's taking a toll on you if you aren't. If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. But since you're using BP so often, it's going to work at least once per boss fight. Once, twice. And getting 3 extra BP back is so crazy, especially if you already have like full BP using Casty or Particio, or even Hikari's Boost for Beyond. There's just so many things here. BP Regeneration is just so good. And of course, number 1 is going to be deal more damage. It can basically make you deal 10 times as much damage. If you really think about it, that's basically what deal more damage can do. It's insane, because It basically lets you break the damage limit, and without that, you're never going to deal that much damage. There's no way you're beating those super hard bosses. Just dealing 9,999, that's pitiful. Honestly, this is the best in the game, and although it wasn't the best in the original Octopath Traveler, it was like second best. Thank you guys all for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and check out other videos on the channel. If you really liked this video, check out our website, rpgranked.com. Pretty easy to remember. Or check out some merch down in the description. Links to other videos can be found in the description, or checking out the channel. There's so many Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 videos on there. If you enjoyed this video, again, please like, subscribe, and share it with somebody else who you know loves this game, because I want to be able to share more videos on YouTube and make this more of a full-time thing. Thank you guys all for watching, and have a fantastic day. Peace out, RPG nerds.